MTN Business Executive Breakfast. It's the Business Executive Breakfast series, and today we are talking about something very, very important. You know, the world has changed. The world was changing, and COVID-19 came, and it's pushed a lot of things to change faster than we anticipated would be. For example, a lot of you are working from home. There's somebody I saw this morning that I've seen only twice this year because he works from home. Some of you are schooling from home. When it comes to healthcare, a lot of us are getting healthcare via e-services, apps, phone calls, WhatsApp, and all sorts of avenues. Life as we knew it 10 years ago is not the same today. Now, life as we know it today will not be the same 10 years from now, and things are changing. Now, all these changes are driven by consumer taste, consumer needs, and consumer preferences. So how do you position your business to understand consumer trends in today's world, to make the right decisions for investment, business process tweaking, and grow and be profitable? That's basically the conversation we are going to have. So I'll hear from Ethel. Ethel is a player in the industry. She's done a lot of research in the space. She's not just a fintech person. She's not just a health person. She's not just a gaming person. She is a midfielder who connects all the dots in the industry. Ethel, you've seen the growth over the past 10 years. You've seen where we are now. There are people who say that with consumer attitudes changing, with digital making a headway, traditional businesses are at risk of extinction. Now, if this is true, from your insight as to consumer behavior and trends, how do traditional businesses prepare for the, I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to use it, metaverse that we've been talking about recently? Ethel.
I've never been called a midfielder, so it's a really good. I'll use that in my next bio. Midfielder connecting folks. Here's the thing: there's always been change through human history, right? Evolution and change through human history. So from the Stone Age, the Industrial Age, into the digital age, there is also always transformation, and there is always winners and losers. Now, in the digital age, it's essentially about maybe two or three things, which is discoverability, availability, and then the ability to purchase or pay for a service and use our service. For traditional businesses, and there's such a wide scope of what you mean traditional business. So if we say people who buy and sell, then we automatically say, well, then begin to think of way in which gradually you don't cannibalize the business that you have now, if you are a walk-in shop, but the ways that you can allow digital options. Now, I have said, and when people hear digital, they always hear web, but I've always said that as inconvenient as USSD is, as inconvenient as WhatsApp is, it's still what do you call it? An appropriate tool for our age because of issues of connectivity, accessibility, and cost, right? And so for traditional businesses, you need to think about where we are right now in terms of our business. Now, what does that look like? If, for instance, if you take insurance, right? So in the insurance industry, it's about 2% penetration in Ghana, or a little less than 2%. Now, what if you are an insurance firm, what you are beginning to think about without cannibalizing your current business is building products that lend themselves to digital. And that might mean that you are appealing to a different type of customer than you normally appeal to, right? It might also mean that you might be appealing to the same customer, but you might finding different ways to reach them. But really, it's about understanding what your space, not killing your business, because a lot of times all the digital transformation go into digital. No, think about ways in which either you can redefine, right? Digital allows you to redefine your industry, your business, your way of doing things. How can you use digital for that redefinition? Or how can you use digital to create a pathway to your door so that your customers can get access to you?
We've had a lot of conversations about buying and selling. For example, healthcare, education. COVID came, people couldn't go to hospitals because hospitals then became hotspots, right? COVID came, people couldn't go to school. So we needed to have virtual classes. Now, if you run a traditional hospital or clinic, looking at the trends, how fast should an owner or a doctor, even a young doctor who is out of school, if he wants to start a business, what should be the thinking? Should I do brick and mortar, or immediately I should have a mix of brick and mortar and digital services because the trends are moving this way and it's moving this fast? How should we approach those things? So the vice president mentioned e-pharmacy, all these things. How should all these industries use the trends we are seeing to invest and then to change their processes to optimize their returns?
Right. I think that we have to think about it the other way, right? So instead of thinking about digital as the forerunner, we think about how the ways in which people access services are changing, right? And so when you think about it that way, you know that for a hospital, which is the example you used, you will always need a hospital bed and people to come in for whatever. But you also know that there are cases in which you can have a conversation with your doctor and they can take a look at you. You can tell them your symptoms. And there are tools like the Apple Watches and the ones that check your pressure and all those things that can send data back to the hospital for them to then use to make decisions. And then e-pharmacy, right? And then I've been in a system where it was amazing to watch from the doctor inputting data into the system to my prescription being fired off to a pharmacy, which is in a different location, for me being able to walk away and go and pick it up. You need to think about, rather than think about how do we do digital, you need to think about how are the different ways in which people are accessing or need to access your services, and then look for digital pathways in there. There are so many industries, so many ways in which we can find digital, but I will always insist on this, that technology be appropriate. We get locked up in this, need an app for everything. We need to think about the appropriate ways to reach the appropriate people with the technology they currently have.
So I'll take final comments from Ethel. The midfielder is going to connect all we've said and sum up for us nicely.
Yes, I'm changing my bio to say tech midfielder. I absolutely love it. Listen, on the book thing, please, in fact, Curtis, Ellie, Amma, your running of your spaces are amazing, and you really should write a book. And if you start with 400 words a day in a year, you have, a 30, 40-page book. So over to you. Hi. Here's my take. In the end, it's really the center of it is the consumer and what their needs are and how we meet their needs. So digital is a path. It opens up more avenues for us to reach the customer or the consumer, but also enables us to be able to be more specific and customize more, because the web and the internet and the technology generally lends itself to that. And so as we think about digital transformation in our businesses and designing products and launching products, we need to put the consumer at the heart of it, understand what the consumer need is, and figure out ways to ensure that the consumer can get it in easy, accessible ways. So those are my few thoughts on wrapping up. But yes, everybody should write a book.
When we connect